Good morning, y'all, and welcome to the first garden tour of the season. We were actually set to shoot this yesterday, but couldn't find a shovel. And now it's 6 o'clock in the morning. That's a lie. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. I'm not getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, but I am excited to start my day with you. And you know I'm gonna show you all my new Vego things and the old things that are still rocking. So thank you to Vego for sponsoring this video. I'll show you more about them in just a minute.
It's actually a cool morning.
I was gonna say, it's gonna be, I think, 95 degrees today. So the fact that it's 67 right now and I'm outside and like a little bit chilly is radical. Because of my incredible gardening skills and the fact that so many things are not successful in my garden, that I overdo it and I always put my best foot forward so that I feel amazing about myself when I walk in. This makes me feel amazing. These are tomatoes, little snacky yellow sunbeam tomatoes, and it's prolific. We have so many tomatoes growing on this vine. My friend Callie, who actually runs a gardening program, I saw her last year post that she was trellising tomatoes up an arch, and I was like, I love the idea of walking under my tomatoes and just like reaching up and grabbing them. So I've just been weaving them. This is a cattle panel. Literally all we did was just fold it in between two T-posts and it just holds the bend in the arch. So I've been going back and forth from the base. This one goes in and out. I think it's on its third time. And it is holding up so beautifully, and it gave me so much more room in this Vego bed. So you guys know I like my snack size beds. These were transferred from another part of our property where I was starting a garden, but cows were taking naps in my bed, and I just wanted it for a different purpose. This bed's almost maxed out. I've got strawberries that are also very happy over here. I didn't expect to get them on these flowers because they were just kind of like falling off right as we got them into the beds. But now we've had like 3 or 4, and their first years, most people would recommend, right when you have those first year strawberries, to just pluck them off. But this is something cool. I think I showed you guys last time. This plant, I don't know if these strawberries will really do their job, but it has runners, and this is not a plant that I planted. So this really full, beautiful, lush plant is gonna be giving us for year after year. It's also running off in this direction. So I have a couple of small, lengthy leaves off of the other plants, but none of them have run off like this one, which is really exciting. So I think this is going to be a great giving strawberry. The moringa has done very well. She's growing, she's giving, she's got new leaves on her, super tender, and even her trunk, I guess because it's a tree, we'd call it a trunk, is getting thicker down at the bottom. So if the moringa soars in this area, we actually might be able to harvest this year and then probably just crush her up into a tea or even freeze dry it and put it into a powder, which would be really cool. And then we can just add it to some morning drinks, which is kind of unreal. We haven't had a moringa grow since we lived in Houston. I don't think this is a climate change issue. I really think it's just like perchance, by happenstance, it likes the Vego bed better than anything else it's ever lived in. Bo just got on me because I glanced over the peppers. It's because I'm not super excited about peppers in my life. Like, what? It's fine. Peppers are fine. I like that they're there.
Wrap them in bacon.
You know what? I should wrap them in bacon. That's a really good point.
Man, it's cream cheese.
Okay, now I just got excited about peppers again. I do love peppers.
Poppers.
I haven't made jalapeno poppers in a long time, but obviously this necessitates jalapeno poppers on Better Together Eats. So these are little babies, but Georgia and Finley really love, I mean, who doesn't love picking in the garden? So these peppers have been well loved and picked. It's still blossoming and the little peppers are getting big. There was a honker, I think I might have it. Remember when I told you to buy the starts? This is why. You buy the starts. They're already started. Don't be ashamed. You're no less of a good gardener just because you buy the starts. Buy 'em. It's summer, and boy do our gardens get thirsty. If you can put in a watering system that stands up to Central Texas summers, you can garden anywhere, my friend. I just got an email that something new from Vego is on its way. In our next garden video, I'll show you how we set up Vego's new irrigation kits in our beds and help us grow abundance this summer. With Vego, we are going to have options in our garden that we've never had with our current irrigation. I'm talking multi-directional, scheduled timers, misters, and soakers. I am about to put this watering system to work. Because they love you so much and want you to grow the most, Vego's given us some discounts that you can find in the links below. I think the Comfrey is too shaded, actually. But you know what I know about Comfrey? She's coming back. No matter what, she's coming back. In fact, come look at this bed over here. This bed has Comfrey in it. In fact, it is strange that it's brown because Comfrey doesn't usually suffer. Like, you can abuse this plant and it doesn't usually suffer. But it's fantastically medicinal. And once you plant it, it's so hardy. It just comes back every single year. So it was in these beds when we revamped them. I would expect, honestly, for me to have Comfrey come through all these beds. It might just be a little suppressed because we have so many other things in here, like the Ruellia right here. We really just grow this for fodder. It has a pretty little flower, but they're so delicate, they're not gonna be cut flowers. So the Ruellia is something we planted in this spot in a tiny little like makeshift bed 7 years ago. This is the benefit of perennials, is they're just gonna keep coming back. So this was for our rabbits, but now our cows love it, our pigs love it, and we just let our garden go for us and for our animals. I was just telling Bo yesterday, something I was surprised about, and I don't know if you guys are experiencing this in your area. Our mulberry trees gave us 0 mulberries this year. It's really, really strange. Last year, we had gallons and gallons of mulberries, and the year before we had tons as well. So I'm not sure what's going on this year. It could be that we cut them back so far, and we really needed to, it was time, that they're just intensely redistributing the energy in the tree, and maybe we don't get berries this year, or maybe they're gonna come out later. But there was a strange time, like a month and a half ago, where there were all kinds of berries all over this tree and the one that we have in the corner of the garden that's in ground. And none of the berries ever turned to berries. They just were in this like young green berry stage. But this is another great fodder tree, and we have a whole video on growing fodder trees and propagating them and why we keep them in the garden right now and what our plans are to help distribute these kinds of trees all throughout our property so that there are snack stations for our cows. Some other tomatoes that I want to show you that are gorgeous, because some of you have been here since the very beginning, and I risk this in saying it, and Bo's probably going to be like, Kelly, but come in close. There was once a lady who was so adamant, multiple comments on multiple videos, and she said, you are so lazier than other homesteaders. And you know, sometimes when you're a little bit of a salty person, you're gonna take that and you're gonna wear it like a little badge. Like, it's really okay. But I just want her to see the garden, and I wanna tell her, lady, laziness sometimes pays off. This is not a competition. If you are watching this, you know I am not in competition with anyone, but I did compete against myself this year, and I'm going to show you how awesome my competition turned out. I was like, I'm going to plant a bunch of different tomatoes. I'm going to plant them all over the place, and then I'm going to see what we like best. So we're really competing the tomatoes against themselves instead of me against every other gardener that I love and enjoy and learn from. And this one has shown off in a way that I did not expect. Shout out to the Vego Trellis. It's giving me joy. I imagine any woman who is sort of crafty would love this. Oh, except there's a little potato bug that we gotta get rid of, you little jerk. Smash it. It's another good use of your garden bed. Smash it. I wasn't sure how I would like the ropiness of this, but it's really actually turned out into a craft. Like I said, I'm weaving those little snacky tomatoes that are over there on the hard trellis, and I like this so much better. I keep so much more space on the plant, But you have to see these little tigress tomatoes because I know they come in all shapes and sizes. But watching these turn into gorgeous tomatoes is the joy of my life right now. And I'm not exaggerating. Yes, they're little, I think they are tiger lilies. Tiger lily tomatoes? Something about tigers are about these tomatoes. So they stripe and they make you happy the way that a watermelon makes you happy as you watch it grow. But over here, there are some that have already grown up. And I saved this just so I could pick this with you. So I'm gonna get these first blushy ones because I suffered a loss and 3 of these were eaten by birds the other day and I vowed never again. So we're gonna get the blushy ones. And look at that. I mean, come on, friends. Come on. I actually do wish you would come on to my garden because gardens just make people happy. Oh, this one's a little bit sad. So this one's split. We had a lot of rain and this one's split, but they're incredibly beautiful. And I know people go nuts over tomatoes. There are tomatoes that are purple, guys. There are tomatoes that have these incredible rainbow colors and sit fat and squatty. That's the redness that we get. So this one's kind of on its way out. We probably should have gotten it yesterday. You can be lazier like me and still grow beautiful, amazing, delicious things in your garden. Let's show you where the wild things grow. Bo came through here just yesterday, and I exaggerate not even a little bit when I say this entire space was covered with wildflowers. So we let this go wild. Bo pulled the dead dad card. We're okay with it. This went wild for weeks, and it just so happened it was right when the black-eyed Susans here, and they were just up to my chest, covering this entire area. So we left a bunch of them because we had moths and hoverflies and bees and wasps, honeybees with pollen pants on. It was fantastic. You could walk over here and hear like a buzz in each section as you walked past. So we're gonna leave those for the pollinators. I'm not even gonna plant these for probably another month. And then we'll get a bunch of zinnia, and I think I've got some hollyhocks, a lot of really beautiful cut flowers because I'd love to have them toward the end of the summer. Hopefully we can keep them that way, but this is sort of like the nursery, like the incubation station. We're not doing anything with her yet. We'll get to her as summer goes on. But this is one of those really lovely things. Like maybe you don't love to let things go wild, but some days I feel wild. And so the garden going wild makes me feel good about wild things being lovely too. And over here, someone told me yesterday in this larger Vego bed, she said, "Oh, it looks like one of your kids got hold of a seed packet." I was like, no. This is absolutely the effort of nature and nature alone. These are zinnias, the only thing we cultivated, but I'm telling you, I cultivated this beautiful thing last year. So I'm about to have some pinks and whites pop up. These are zinnias over here right before they go to flower. I think there's a little pink one right here. But these zinnias are really just letting the zinnias go to seed last year. Georgia might have plucked one and thrown them out like she likes the seeds. But I really think that here and then further on in that bed, these are just hardy volunteers. And that to me is so exciting. And the black-eyed Susans here, the horse mint over here. I didn't plant this bed. This is a wild, wonderful bed. And I'm not gonna take it away from the bees anytime soon. So we'll plant, I know. I think I'll probably pluck up some of these things and then put probably herbs in this bed. Like we'll put some calendula and some chamomile in this bed. I have a lot of seed packets that do really well in the heat. So we're gonna do that and hopefully don't need to put up a shade cloth this summer, but we'll just kind of see how it goes along. But this garden was really, really successful last year and produced an abundance of food, including this. When you can stand underneath your sunflower for shade, you get really excited. I also did not plant this. This is just a huge sunflower. It's gonna bloom in a lot of places. I think we've got some heads coming out of almost each
Hold the
little
leaf up to
sucker.
your face.
Okay, look at my hand.
Like
The leaves are enormous.
trunk of this thing.
It is, it's rotund. It's dense. Okay, so maybe we do need to give this lady, what was her name? Nellie. Nellie, if you're watching, bless you for the fire you lit under my butt. Maybe Nellie is right, and maybe we are so much lazier than other homesteaders. But the laziness of this year is enjoying the hardiness and the heavy work of last year. This was a sunflower that was planted in this bed last year, and obviously the seeds just came and lived in the seed bed for a year and then said, let's wake up. So this whole bed was sunflowers. And this year we're gonna accompany this guy with 2 of these okra. It's a little bit early, but honestly, next week is our coldest week. And then we're gonna go straight on to 95. All I even managed to put in here, guys, and I'm talking like 2 months ago in April, early April, we put in these tomatoes, and that's it. So naturally, modest nature is gonna cover herself. And these are grasses, bunch grasses that are all over here. There's a couple other weedy things. And I know some people are like, there are no such things as weeds. All plants have purpose. Yes, but I'm not gonna eat these. And I'm not gonna like enjoy their beauty. They are what they are. Enjoy that they're covering the ground. However, we're gonna rip these up and we're gonna fill every square inch of this bed, even to overcrowding, because I don't wanna have to pull these weeds. And what I've learned over the last, 4 years of really intentionally gardening is that when I have a bed that's full, the weeds don't have room to work out. And in fact, it usually runs away almost all instances of fire ants. So if you can plug your bed full of other things, even if it's things that you're not gonna keep for long, you're gonna reduce the need for weeding. If this isn't an advertisement for mulch, I don't know what is. Mulch, 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 mulch. Your weeds come up a lot easier. And we're gonna do that same thing throughout this whole bed. More flowers in this bed, a couple more herbs, and make this really, really diverse, because that's the most success that we've ever had. Instead of doing a bed full of tomatoes or a bed full of corn, when we mix it together, I think you guys have heard of companion planting. That's honestly the most successful we've ever had. And I think beds like this and over here are showing you how things want to grow. Like things want to grow together. So I have at least 5 different varieties of plants in this that just self-seeded and we're like, hey, we're best friends. Let's do this growing thing together. I hope you've been here for a little while. I hope you were here last year and the year before when I was like, guys, why won't my fig tree produce figs? I don't know what we did, but I'll tell you the difference between this year's fig tree and last year's fig tree. Check this out. Kind people on the internet sometimes only know as much as you know. And so kind people on the internet last year told me that I needed a second fig tree in order to pollinate this. But then when I asked things like Google was like, figs are self-pollinating, don't worry about it. We learned this year that you do not need 2 fig trees to pollinate your figs. So this fig tree is insane. We put it in the corner of the garden just to see if it would still live. It has lived, and it has been so happy in this corner of the garden, free from the shackles of its bondage, that this tree is gonna give, Lord willing, these all come to their right size and like actually mature. I think we've eaten 3 figs total off this tree ever. So we're gonna do fig tarts. We're gonna do figs covered in honey stuffed with goat cheese and cracked pepper on top. We're gonna do fig ice cream. We're gonna maybe do like fig jam and fig Newtons. Like we're gonna go fig crazy. Oh, we're gonna go figging crazy. I like that. I have one final thing, and I thought I was gonna talk about it at the top of the video, but I think I got distracted by snacking tomatoes. The last thing that we're actually gonna put in the ground today is a beautiful rose bush, and I'll tell you the story as we walk there. Friends of ours from our church in Katy sent this rose bush, and it's just about to bloom. It's been almost 2 weeks. So we need to get it in the ground today. I think it's been like 7 or 8 days. And this rose bush was sent by our friends to plant, and then every year as it blooms, to remember Bo's dad. So this church we went to in Katy did this whenever there was a loss in the family. And I have friends who've lost family members and received this gift, and they're like, every year, they're just like, this is the most beautiful reminder of life and how it keeps going on and how seasons change and nothing ever looks the same, but there are constancies and rhythms that we can rely on. And I'm so excited. We're gonna plant this one right in the center here. And then it's gonna be like how I put my best foot forward in the garden. Every time we walk out and it's this season, we're gonna see just growth and so much beauty from this beautiful rose bush that we're gonna just remember Bo's dad every single time. Thank you again to Vego for keeping us gardening and sponsoring this video. Their products that we always highlight from our garden, like the trellises and the beds and even the snack size versions or the round ones, whatever shape. We have had these beds and they've been so reliable and so beautiful even years later that it's easy to shout out and easy to appreciate a company that makes really great products. If you are loving what we share, check it out in the links below. But if there's something that you were missing, like, man, it's hard to bend over, I have a small space, or I don't really know how to get started, Vego covers every skill level on their website and gives you access to tools to help you get started gardening. So I highly recommend you checking those out if you've been on the fence and you're just curious. Our links are below and they're gonna have discounts just for our audience. So thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Vego, and thank you for coming back. We're gonna be doing this once a month at least, and I'm really excited to show you how the garden's growing, but I'd also love to hear what you're growing and where you're from and what's most exciting about being in your garden right now.